I'm here today with Alex Parry.
Parry, yes.
And Alex, tell me a little bit about yourself. Like, Liz and I moved down to Johanna here, and we've embarked on this Johanna project that's getting bigger than Ben-Hur. And I thought it'd be really good to sort of introduce the audience and people following the project with the locals.
Yep.
I wanted to call it the local yokels, but I think it'd be a nice thing to give context to the area and context to the people that make the area, I guess, and that's one of the reasons why we fall in love with it. So, what brought you here, firstly, and how long have you been here?
What brought me here? I suppose a cliched answer is the love of a good woman. So I've been here since September 2014, so just over 11 years. You may have detected from the accent I wasn't born round here, so I'm originally from the UK. So my heritage is Welsh Jamaican. Always lived in the UK, travelled quite a lot, but never once wanted to travel to Australia. Had no intention at all. In fact, I said to Kim, my wife, who is Australian, you'd have to stick pins in my eyes before I ventured into Australia. But here I am now, an Australian citizen.
But not only that, you're an Australian citizen, you've come to Australia, but then we are 1 hour away from the nearest regional town, which is then 2 hours away from Melbourne, and another hour away from, I guess, the satellite city, Geelong. So you've gone to an extreme.
Maybe for some people, but for me that's the beauty of it. That I never wanted to live again in the city or even in a regional town. So I was brought up in the city in Wales, but then in my latter years I lived out in rural Wales. And so when Kim and I were looking for a property permanently to live in Australia, a city or a town really wasn't in the equation. So we always wanted something with space and with a sense of, I suppose, smaller community. Kim's originally from Geelong, so she grew up knowing about the Otways. And really, although we had tentatively looked at the Grampians to settle in once we came back permanently from the UK, we were always drawn back to this area. The fact that you've got the ocean, you've got the rainforest, avid Geelong supporters. So one of the
commiserations for this year.
They're hopeless, aren't they, in the end? But one of the considerations was that it had to be within, say, 2 hours of Cardinia Park, so we could travel to the games. And Kim's parents were at the time living in Daylesford, so it's important to be within 2-3 hours of them as well. So all those factors combined to decide that the Otways is a place for us. And look, when we were looking for properties, we were always drawn back to this area, and this is home.
Did you? One of the things Liz and I experienced is the community here. Did you know much of the community or any connection with it prior to moving here?
Honestly, no. But when we were looking at the area, we would used to call in at the local cafes in Labour's Hill, and you got a sense of community there in so much way that when we returned, they remembered you.
Fantastic. And what do you do with yourself here? You're retired or you're working?
Look, technically,
I know a little bit about this, but it's more a case of letting the audience know what you're doing and how you're keeping yourself busy.
So when we returned here permanently in 2014, I did return as being retired.
From
law enforcement
right
in the UK. I did 25 years service. So came here retired, but I knew I had to do something. So I worked at Cape Otway Light Station
Yep.
Initially as a guide, but then as the operational coordinator. Because my background's in history as well, I did a lot of the historical research for the light station, set up the school programs, line management of the guides, that sort of thing. I stopped doing that in 2020. Still do a little bit of guiding. I'm a licensed tour operator, sole trader, running shipwreck tours along the Great Ocean Walk, but again mainly for colleges and schools. I suppose my main employment, certainly in the last 4 years, is as the fire lookout observer at Crow's Fire Tower, just west of the Labour's Hill. Those don't know the area that well. But I suppose really, I'm mainly kept busy by the CFA.
Yes, and I salute you, Captain.
It's the first time I reckon you've only ever saluted me, but
And probably the last one. I'm joking. Tell us a little bit about your role as a captain of the CFA. Liz and I are both volunteers.
Yeah, well, again, I suppose it goes back to that sense of community. That Kim's also a firefighter, so we both joined the local.
Kim, your better half.
My better half, yes, very much my better half.
I think we need to start a support group because both of us are doing pretty well in that area. Liz on my side and Kim on yours.
So when we arrived here back in 2014, we both joined the CFA straight away, the local brigade, the Otway Brigade, based here at Labour's Hill. And I think our first fire was Wye River in 2015, that Christmas Day fire.
That was a fairly large fire, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And look, there are a number of reasons why I in particular joined the CFA. One was that sense of community and maybe giving something back to the community. The other thing, as being from the UK, my knowledge of bushfires was very, very limited. So what better way to learn than to join the local brigade? And I think, in a way, that Wye River experience formulated my later career in inverted commas in the CFA, because we're all volunteers.
Yep.
We don't get paid to do what we do. But in terms of, that was a major, what we call a campaign fire. So seeing everything that went into fighting that fire.
All the resources. So campaign.
In terms of, it was more than just a one-day fire.
Right.
Yeah, it was running over a number of days, involving a number of agencies, a number of departments all working together.
And the resources as well, so it'd be air, ground.
Yeah. Plus the logistics part of it, plus the headquarters part of it, all coming together.
So that's what's termed a
campaign
fire.
Yeah. It's unfortunate in a way that as an organisation, CFA has hung on to a lot of militaristic terms. But yeah, in terms of shaping what I later did, okay, I think I can contribute more to the CFA in terms of time. So then I became asked to become a lieutenant in the brigade, and then just over 4 years ago, I was elected as captain.
Were you elected? Were you forced?
Yeah, it's one of these things that I never looked to be captain. Yeah, and I should have realised something was happening at the time, because at the brigade management meetings, which normally include the captain, the lieutenants, training coordinator, the people who actually run the brigade for the members, I'm usually the first at these meetings. But there's one particular meeting was the last one. And the first item on the agenda is apparently Erica, the captain at the time, deciding that she was going to step down and who was going to be the next captain. And unanimously it was decided, it's going to be me. So if you look at not a rank structure as such, but I became from 4th lieutenant to captain. Well, another 3 lieutenants before me. But for various reasons, they all declined to do it, and that's how I became captain. You are elected, But that probably tells you something about the role, but I was elected by the members unopposed.
And Liz and I have noticed the amount of time and effort it takes to fulfill that role. You know, we're getting emails from you at various hours of the morning or night, and then
I
also
apologise for that.
no, don't be silly. It's more Liz and I see the other side of it, the commitment that you have to it, and the amount of time you put into it. So it's a serious role that you're taking on, but also commitment and time and commitment and effort as well. It's not just a paperwork thing either. You're here, you know, out of hours or, you know, outside training, you'll come and organise entrapment drills and things like that, you know, working with the members who are volunteers, like you said, and time-wise struggle with allocation and so on, but you seem to allocate a lot of time.
I'm lucky because, as I said, we're volunteers, and I think that the mantra I tell our members is, look, we're volunteers. We do what we can when we can. It just so happens that my lifestyle means that I do have time I can give. We're a large brigade here, so we've got 50 members, of which 29 are operational firefighters, with another one going through their firefighting training at the moment. And it's, in terms of managing 50 people, it's about ensuring that all their needs are being met as volunteers, to keep them active and involved in whatever level that they can give. And also of making sure that the members feel involved themselves. So that's why I send out my brigade updates every couple of weeks, maybe, so people know what's happening. And
that engagement's still there.
But
connection, isn't it?
That's right. But you know, I've got to say that every member of the brigade is a member of the community, and every member of the brigade, even if they're not active, are still giving something back to the community at some point. And I've got to say, yes, I'm busy as a captain, but I do have a very good support network around me, so that I can delegate tasks to, and be confident that they'll be carried out. And it means that even with members just stepping up and saying, yeah, I can do that for you, it makes a huge difference.
But I think, you know, from my point of view, and I can only speak for myself here, seeing the amount of effort that you put in really inspires other people, like myself and Liz, you know, to devote time to it and, you know, commit to doing things and so on. And also takes a level of skill to be able to manage this as well, you know. So, I'm guessing that's coming from the law enforcement side of things, you know, with structure and things like that.
I think,
working in that, you know, sort of structure, it might help, I think, navigate the...
It can do, you're right, Ralph, it can do, but at the same time it can also hinder it in a way, and I'll be honest, it did take me a while to change my style of management in terms of managing a
volunteer base.
And just being aware of the differences. But once you become aware of the differences, from managing a paid professional to managing a volunteer, and realising, look, in the grand scheme of things, maybe the volunteer is giving so much more, it makes it easier.
Which then brings me to, now this is moving away from the CFA and getting back to community, I guess, and people and characters and so on. I guess that also comes down to then a country town and characters and, you know, why people are in country towns and why people enjoy a country town as well, you know, so it's different characters to the city, I guess, you know. How have you found that as far as living here?
Oh, it's great. I mean, this is home for me. This area, I've got no intention of leaving. I've said to Kim, look, when it's my time, just roll me into a gully.
Yeah. There's some deep gullies
There
around.
are some deep gullies. So if it wasn't for the leeches,
You'll be gone by then. You'll be feeding nature again.
yeah, but it is that sense of rural town and community. You know,
It is, isn't it?
and it's strange because for a number of reasons, I'm a private person. But living in this community has brought me more out in the public than I've been used to in the last, well, certainly my career. Yeah, back in the UK.
Yeah, I noticed that. Look, before Liz and I bought the place here, I travelled around Australia and in my motorhome truck with Rani, and Liz would fly in and out and meet me and so on. And the concept of that was meeting people and basically shooting portraits of them, sitting down, having a conversation like we are now, and getting to know that person before I took a portrait of them.
Yeah.
And, you know, the idea of that, and I'd normally do that when I shoot a portrait, you sort of have an engagement and a connection with someone and try and get an idea of that person, I guess. But it was in remote areas that I was doing it.
Yeah.
And one of my preconceptions, you know, was, you go into a country town and it's closed-minded and narrow-minded and so on, and it's the exact opposite. Because the characters that you meet here, there's reasons why people are private and they want their privacy or they're quirky or so on, but the level of tolerance is so much more because in town, you know, I'm not enjoying conversation with you, there's 10 other people I can go and have a chat with. That's one thing, you know, you can move on. You're kind of restricted, you know, to conversations. So you sort of engage a little bit more, but the other part is reliance as well.
Yes.
And then we're tying back to CFA and community and, you know, supporting each other and why you joined, why Liz and I joined. We joined within months, I think, of us being here, or less than months. I think it would have been weeks sort of thing of me, you know, being down here full time. And you're doing it for each other.
Yes, that's right.
Not for the bigger CFA, or not that they're doing a bad thing, but it's about community first.
Yeah. And as you know, we have students in Barrack-Carrington College who's new on campus going to visit us every term here at the fire station, and we talk about volunteering. And you know, up here at Lagos Hill, we've got the SCS and we've got Ambulance Victoria. We're all volunteers. And what I say to the students who mainly come from the city is, in terms of community, well, if we don't do it, no one else is. Yeah, as a community, we have to look after each other, and this is part of it.
And that's a small community as well. There's, you know, it's not spread around as much as well, and it's not expecting someone else to do it. It's, you know, if you're available, you do it. So outside your responsibilities as a volunteer and your work, you know, in the fire tower and so on, what do you do with yourself outside in your spare time? What spare time do you have?
Well, yeah, look, I'm lucky in terms of my work-life balance. We're on acreage like you, so we're out at Yulong, so we've got 123 acres, of which probably about 35 is cleared, and the rest is rainforest gullies. So that takes managing. We don't have stock on there, but you have to learn new skills. So I learned how to drive a tractor and slash and use a loader and the rest of it.
Ride-on mower?
Ride-on mower, I think that was the first purchase. Ride-on mower.
They're fun at the start, now it's a chore, isn't it?
I was just thinking now, if it's dry this afternoon, that's what I'll be doing for a couple of hours. Yeah, look, but it's enjoyable. Yeah. You know, I wake up every day and, you know, sometimes I'm just out there on my own and I look around and think how great this is.
There's always something to do.
Always something to do.
On your way to one task, you see 5 other tasks.
Great, yeah. Look, and I'm also, as we said before, a Geelong tragic in terms of Geelong Cats. So I go to as many home games as I can, both men's and women's. Yeah. So, but I have a very comfortable, enjoyable life. here.
It's very much the case, isn't it? You know, and something that resonated with Liz and I was we celebrated my 50th last year, and you know, I think in the sort of speech I said at the end, thanking everyone for coming, I said the joke's on you. You're stuck with Liz and I where life is here. You know,
Yeah.
and it's the community. You know,
Yeah.
it's just an amazing community, and that was word of mouth. I think we at one stage nearly had 150 people.
Yeah.
You know, at the events, and seeing that there's less than 100 people at the last census that live in town, that was fantastic.
Yeah.
And you know, it was word of mouth, and we wanted an open invitation,
Yeah.
and everyone came to sort of say hello, and
It's really nice.
didn't necessarily
I remember
stay for the whole night, but you know, and it was
Yeah.
great, and it was a real country events as well. The too much food, everyone brought a bit of food as well, and you know, we had a lamb off the top paddock,
Yeah.
that you know, first lamb we took off our property, and had it on the spit, and had venison, and you know, various other things. Everyone brought something along as well. It was just a great event, and you know, we have the CFA barbecues here and things like that. It is the community, isn't it?
It is, and you know, this is most comfortable I've felt living in the community, and in terms of my life, probably the happiest I've ever been.
It is a balance, isn't it?
It is.
You know, we catch up at Yates's in the morning for a
Community engagement, I call it.
Yes,
Ralph.
that's because Kim's probably going to be listening.
Right. Bit of communicate. Have a salad at Yates's.
Yes,
Yeah.
with a what is it? Pancake on the side.
Only occasionally.
On the rare incidents,
yes.
isn't it? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's great to catch up with people at Yates's.
I have a coffee machine at home. I can make coffee at home. You know, it's a matter of catching up and you know, that connection with
Definitely.
people and so on. So, look, once again, thank you for being a local yokel. I shouldn't say that. A local as part of this sort of project that we're doing. We want people to engage and get a feel for the area, and you know, a feel for the people as well. And you know, you're a big part of that here, and well respected as well.
Thank you for saying that.
Well, I didn't say I respect you. I just said well respected.
Right. Right, I can see my next captain.
And it's not me. Look, just I don't think I could do it with the amount of time that you put into it. And you know, I think you're a bit like that as well. You won't do anything in halves. So, you know, that's my apprehension with the time commitment that we have with this big project we've taken on.
Yeah. Look,
you know?
volunteers, we do what we can where we can in terms of CFA.
Well, thank you for volunteering to sit down with me today without too much
I've enjoyed it.
arm twisting. Well,
No,
I'm
I
glad
actually
you did.
enjoyed it. No, thank
Glad
you.
you did. Well, thank you very much.